collaboration with the police service, the Ghana Armed Forces, and all the other agencies which have been operating task forces. Luckily, we have been able to unify them. But I must say that, as His Excellency said in about 3 weeks back, about the 2 outstanding forest reserves, about a week and a half ago, we were able to take those forest reserves, that is the Atwimamponia Forest Reserve, which was very decisive, a 4 or 5 days operation. We did that concurrently with the Desiree Forest, so the 2 are now free of illegal miners. Finally, we handed them over, and then 2 days after, some people decided to go back. With the ground intelligence, we quickly went in massively, and we subdued those armed gangs. And currently, they are in their cells, and Honorable Attorney General is leading in their prosecution. That is what NIMOS is going to do going forward. About 450 excavators have been seized at various police stations and barracks locations, and the necessary registration and tagging is ongoing. Currently, as I speak this morning, one of my deputies and a team from the various organizations, Forestry Commission, Minerals Commission, are off to Kumasi to register all those ones we have in safe custody. They will go around the whole country, all the lodgement areas, and make sure that the state gets a full hand on all these seized excavators and take the necessary decision so that they don't go back into the illegal mining sites. We have over 1,400 people arrested and at various levels of investigation and prosecution. The Honorable Attorney General, I'm sure, will speak to these ones. Over 500 Shamfans. In fact, 500 is an understatement. They have all been destroyed. And I've told my troops that they should be brutal when they get to water bodies and there are Shamfans inside. We will not bring Shamfans out because it is at a cost to the state and they may not even be serviceable. So the best thing is to damage, destroy, and burn them completely in the water bodies, and then later we'll go and clear the debris so that the chemicals and the corrosion can go off the water. So that is what we are doing, and it's a bold step. We will not stop doing that. We'll continue to burn them in the water. The forest reserve, whatever equipment we cannot use, we will damage them, including excavators. We'll scatter them into pieces in situ. Over 1,000 pumping machines. I must say that about 900 have already been presented by the Honorable Minister for Lands and then Agriculture to farmers who are putting them to good use. As I speak, I have about 150 still in the NIMO stores ready to be presented to the farmers so that they can be put to better use than destroying our environment. Then also, there are a lot of weaponry in the Galamsey sites. There are some of them we've seized. We are processing them. We'll be handed over to the Ministry of Interior and the National Security Secretariat so that the necessary disposal actions can be carried out. I must say that there are some vehicles that were seized from illegal mining sites. They are no longer for the owners. The Honorable Attorney General has told us that he's going to help us to seize them. We will seize them as soldiers. But the Honorable Attorney General will help us to secure them legally. Once we get them legally, we'll continue to use them for our operations because we need these resources to carry out the operation. It's a better use than using them for illegal mining. So going forward, I must say that what should Ghanaians expect? There's a lot more. The NIMOS is going to deploy fully, firmly, as the Minister has been highlighting, across the length and breadth of the country. In fact, we've zoned the whole country into 7 illegal mining zones or regions, and further sectorize them into 21. And we're going to deploy troops enough at every center. They will be there 24/7. The illegal miners think they can operate in the night. No. We will picket every location and make sure that life is made unbearable for them going forward. And we'll be ruthless with them because they are environmental terrorists, as Dr. Kenashigbe used to say. They are terrorists and must be treated as such. We have only one Ghana. We need to do everything possible to protect it. The 21 zones we have been given focus by His Excellency the President. every water body within those zones, every forest reserve, the roads and railways which are being dug, and then foreigners who have come to destroy our environment. We will focus on those areas and make sure that those who are mine legally have the access to the legal areas to mine sustainably.
You know, yes, I have the power to do it. But the president acts on the authority, not only on the authority, on the advice of the National Security Council. And as at now, this moment, the National Security Council believes that we can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. I want to assure you that the day they advise me otherwise, that, boss, now we need a state of emergency, I will not hesitate in declaring a state of emergency. But we do still think that we have the powers to be able to win this fight. And as we deploy more troops and we apply more resources to the fight, I'm sure that gradually we'll begin to see that we're winning the fight. So like I said, this is not going to be a one-stop dialogue. We're going to continue to update you. We need your support. We need your criticism. We need your advocacy. We need your pressure. Continue to put our feet to the fire, because that will encourage us to also continue to work harder. And so I want to personally assure you that as president, I will also continue to put pressure on my lands ministry and all the ministries that are involved in this to make sure that we're able to hand over to our children and our grandchildren an environment that our great-grandfathers handed over to us. They gave us a beautiful country with a lot of forests and trees and beautiful rivers. We should not hand over poisoned rivers and desecrated forests to our children and our grandchildren. And so we will continue to fight. I believe that we'll win the fight against Galamsey. And I want to thank you for the advocacy that you continue to do. We'll hold the next dialogue. NIMOS will go to work and continue. And once we chalk more successes, we'll be able to come and update you that this is what we're doing. We want to do it transparently. We have nothing to hide. I don't gain anything from Galamsey. I am not personally involved in Galamsey, and I have no interest in it continuing. And so you can be sure that we are all on the same side.
The implications of the destruction of our water bodies and our forest reserve, our very lives, the foundation of how we survive. There was also clearly weak enforcement of mining regulation. The real problem was also with the regulators, the Minerals Commission and the EPA. I must be the first to say it. It was very clear how we issue licenses was even discouraging people in mining areas and poor people from going through this queue. It was pointless. Unemployment, poverty, and limited access to opportunity were clear factors as well. It got worse. Corruption among political officials and law enforcement agencies who were supposed to lead the effort were all complicit, clearly.
This impasse reflects the minister's lack of mental rigor in understanding and then conducting negotiations. One, his failure to grasp key issues during meetings and communicate the actual negotiated outcomes to Ghanaians, or a deliberate fabrication of what he was never able to broker, is evident. Firstly, MultiChoice publicly challenged him for inaccurately claiming that there had been an agreed reduction in prices. They issued a press release denying this assertion. Just yesterday, MultiChoice released a new statement clarifying that breakthrough the minister announced during his press conference as a result of his effective negotiations. In fact, they said what they were giving Ghanaians were merely promotional offers. This clearly aligns with what we stated in one of our earlier press statements. It is also demonstrated that the minister lacks the temperament and emotional intelligence for such a critical role. He has demonstrated this same trait on numerous public utterances, insults to citizens and industry players during the process. By adopting an arbitrary decision-making posture, the minister is also denying regulators, such as the NCA, the opportunity to perform their work according to law, which clearly threatens the growth of this sensitive industry. His actions also signal a breach of the President's Code of Conduct that requires candor and respect to all persons. Fellow Ghanaians, for this display of ineptitude, incompetence, and penchant for deceit, we of the minority demand that, 1, the minister render an unqualified apology to Ghanaians for the waste of the nation's time and resources on this venture. 2, we call on him to account for the fines levied on DSTV. And 3, we deem him unfit to continue as the minister for this strategic ministry of communication, digital technology, and innovation, and therefore call on him to resign or for His Excellency the President to fire him.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Inside Pages on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. It's a pleasure to come your way. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Here on Inside Pages, we flip through the pages. We look out for what we believe are the most topical issues for the week. We invite the right guest and ask them the relevant questions on your behalf, and that's what we do here on Inside Pages. This morning, we have two very important conversations to have. One has to do with the raging controversy between the Minister for Communications and that of media giant, global media giant. We're talking about MultiChoice Africa. It has to do with government attempt to get MultiChoice Ghana to reduce the subscription fees for customers of DSTV. The minister this week held a news conference and said there's been a major breakthrough. And the major breakthrough is that they've been able to get DSTV or MultiChoice Ghana to give us what it calls increased value offering. Now, skeptics or critics of the minister are saying that that is not what was promised and that he has failed, and so he should resign. You saw in that news conference, which was held by the minorities ranking member on communication and information, who are asking the communications minister to resign because he's incompetent. That's according to him. Would ask whether the minority stands or the minority's grounds for asking for Sam George to resign, whether those grounds are tenable, whether they are strong, whether they are sustainable. That's the conversation we'd have today. And also, the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, yesterday held a very, very important stakeholder meeting with CSOs, that's civil society organizations. And the President has reiterated that even though he has the power to declare a state of emergency, he acts not only on his authority, but that of the National Security Council. And the National Security Council believes that we, as in Ghana, can win the fight against Galamsey without a state of emergency. But he also continues to say that if the National Security Council advises him accordingly, that he should go ahead and declare a state of emergency, he will not even he won't hesitate at all, and that he gets nothing from Galamsey or from the Galamsey business. Would ask what your thoughts are with regards to yesterday's encounter with civil society organizations and whether the President has responded sufficiently and accurately to the questions that were being asked, and also whether the CSOs met your expectations, whether they lived up to expectations. Would ask those questions when our guests join us on the show. Please stay with us. This is Inside Pages on Metro TV. Please don't go anywhere.
Chichia winning Nara, me ding at the baby dapa, me dear son cocran ebremo. Now that what we are with you and Japan with the bremo. And no any summer spices. Summer spices in here, and we will remember various flavors. Ubenya a yako, Ubenya Nemchi, you do good jollof woman and we get there. Ubenya you do good quail, you do good for you. Hot knuckle pibito, na Emma with Gianni, and yet dead. When you mean ya, young con your company uncle for Eka.
Down when you communicate, you all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices. One in the essence, no time. Samu spices in a Sabi, Daddy so say. Samu spices,
Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices, in Sanaka in Kitswa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors Alfodo bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
FDRJ Jadien Kratwayatu.
Wabedum, Tamaso, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Makwema besisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji. Dabio, baby wom. Ready. Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. Sorry, well, uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Arrowfield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share nanda daya wash mosquito call esudu womunumu. Na say spray with them sha. Try sima edronum ansana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model, securing your safety, creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Go be the luckiest, go be from Georgia be luckiest, from not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest, everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom! If you put it away, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Hey! Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
I just want to hear. Welcome to season 2 of Play by Ear. Make some noise. This is the only show. All you need is your ear to win some cash.
When I
say play by ear, what you say?
You're still watching Inside Pages on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM. My name is Audu Moro. Joining me this morning for what promises to be a very, very interesting conversation. You don't want to miss out on this one. So please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. It's Dr. Arthur Kennedy, who will be joining us via Zoom. He's a political activist and also a physician. He'll be joining us shortly for this conversation via Zoom all the way from the United States of America. There's also Charles Cromwell Nanabenying Onyawonto BCU. He is a member of the MPP's communications team. He's also a former presidential staffer. Good morning, sir. And thank you very much for joining us on the show today.
Yes, thank you.
It's always a pleasure to have you join us.
Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. And also we're joined shortly by Mr. Theophilus Jimega, who's Jimega Jr., who is a lawyer, an engineer, and also a member of the NDC's communications team. So I'll start now. The thing about, and also at some point we're joined by Michael Kwejo-Pepra, who's with the National Concerned Small Scale Miners Association. Now, as you do know, first of all, Charles, just good to see you once again. It's been a while. I've been wondering what you've been up to. You've sort of gone a little bit under the radar in terms of your media engagement.
Okay.
What have you been quietly doing?
Okay, thank you. Good morning to your listeners. I really haven't gone under the radar. Okay. I believe that the NDC won power in January. They come out with outline the things that they're going to do for the country.
Okay.
And so if you come out to speak too early, then it means that you're only waiting for a government to fail so that you excel. And so I decided that I'll wait till they've actually rolled out the things that they promised Ghanaians that they're going to do. Subsequent to that, I've been actively involved in the politics. I've been working with Kennedy Japan as his director of operations.
Okay.
So I've been active in politics.
So you've made a decision as to who you want to be with, which is the Kennedy Japan campaign.
Yeah.
And you are now the director of operations of the Kennedy Japan campaign. I hope it's going well so far.
It is going well. I mean, normally we work quietly and then we wait for those out there to tell you how you're doing it. Of course, we've rolled out the things we're going to do.
Okay.
He started his tour from the Western region, Western North region. He's done the Bono regions, meeting the actual delegates. I know some of the aspirants are meeting only constituency executives, but he said that these delegates, they are the ones, when he wins, becomes the flag bearer of the new patriotic party, they are the ones who are going to do the legwork, the house to house and all that. So he needs to actually revere them, give them that respect. And so he's going to go to every constituency. So he's doing all 276 constituencies. He's done the Western North so far and all the Bono regions. He resumes next week and then starts from the Northern region down to the South. So, it's going well. His message is going well. I know you know that he's been the people's person. At this point, the delegates are saying that the MPP should bring him forward. Once they bring him forward, they're going to vote for him. So we're all hoping for the best as a party. I also believe that once he's won, the others will join us. The tour that he's doing is called the Unity Tour. So when he goes out there, you can tell that everything that he says are the facts. The facts, there's something we're calling the positive aggression, where he says it as it is. Because in our politics now, what we say is that we need somebody to come in with that political revolution, not through the barrel of the gun, but however to deepen our democracy. Our politics has gotten to the point where hitherto we come out with theories and all that, and then we quote the GDP, which we expect that we are going to achieve. And then following that, we come out to say the IMF and then the World Bank has done A or B, so we have to go crying to them. But then all these things should have been factored in. And Kennedy has that pragmatic approach to things. And so that's what most Ghanaians I'm looking for. We've been to most of the universities. They've learned the theory. He's going out talking to them about entrepreneurship. He's a businessman. And people are calling for a businessman. We've had lawyers, we've had economists and all that. But what is interesting is that he's been in parliament for 24 years. We have three arms of government, the judiciary, legislature, and the executive. He's served in the legislature for over 24 years, where the laws of the state are promulgated and those laws are being normally implemented by the executive and the judiciary interpreting them. So moving to the executive arm of government, I think that he should be able to do that, so that every law that comes from Parliament, he's been there for 24 years, so he can actually do it. So he's garnered so much experience, and being in Parliament for 24 years, we've never, without blemish, we've seen him actually fighting for the party and Ghana. So if I say Ghana, when these young people got stuck in the Middle East, he went and brought them. He did not look at party colors, whether MPP, and he said, "You're a Ghanaian." So he goes with it. He keeps saying that Ghana first. And so I think that he's the best person that if we put forward, Ghanaians will vote for. You see, our politics is that things, people talk about things being said nicely. But he's blunt and he says it as it is, with a positive aggression. And that's what Ghana needs now, because we keep recurring things come in and then we go back and then say things. So I've been with him, and I think the delegates will listen to us and then actually vote for him.
All right. Let me also welcome again Michael Kwadwo Pepra. He's the president of the National Concerned Small Scale Miners Association. Kwadwo, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Kwadwo, good morning. Okay, we don't have Kwadwo on. He's actually supposed to be joining us on Zoom. Unfortunately, he's not on. We'll try and re-establish contact with him, and then we can invite him onto the show. Now, let me start with this. I want us to start with this conversation about the meeting that the president held yesterday with, civil society organizations, which was as a follow-up to some statements which had been issued by these same CSOs, who have been very concerned about our approach towards fighting Galamsey, where some of them actually feel that we're not being as radical as they would have expected. I'm told that Michael Pepra has joined us now. Michael, hopefully you can hear me and I can hear you too. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I'm happy that you have made time to join the show.
That's fine. Thanks for having me anyway.
Oh, all right. So Mr. Charles Bisu is here, so I'll start a conversation with him. He'll give his preliminary thoughts, and then I'll come back to you shortly for me to also hear your own opinion or views about the president's encounter yesterday, whether you're impressed, not impressed, okay. I mean, basically what your view or your thoughts and your feelings about what happened yesterday at the presidency is. But Charles, I mean, for me, your appearance on this show is very strategic, and it's also very profound and very, very important for me. Yeah. And it's obvious because of the role you have played in this whole fight against illegal mining and how passionate you were to try and rid the country of this, what people are calling an ecocide, because it's clearly an existential threat, And I saw the passion with which you did it, never mind some of the things that happened to you sometimes, what some people say such as life. Now, you heard the president yesterday. Yeah. You heard the questions that were posed. You heard the president's responses. Yeah. First of all, what do you make of the idea that the president has had to invite CSOs for an encounter? And what do you make of how the encounter went yesterday at the presidency? Did you watch it on TV, heard it on radio, or you've watched it? I
read about it.
You read about it. Okay. So when you heard that the president was inviting the CSOs for a meeting, what was your initial thoughts? And from everything you've heard, do you think it's lived up to expectation? I'm talking about the encounter or the interaction.
Okay, so for me, I think it's not a matter of being impressed or not. I think the nation Ghana must be taken seriously.
Okay.
What I am looking for is consistency in the things we do. You see, in 2017, the Akufo-Addo government came out with the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, which was an amalgamation of bringing together about 10 ministries and the relevant agencies. I heard the Lands Minister saying that the various agencies, the Minerals Commission, all are culpable. Okay. Before we took over, the fight had started under the NDC, where there was a task force, but much was not done. And so under the Akufo-Addo government, things were outlined properly. If I say properly, it means that there was a structure. The Interministerial Committee, which I was the secretary, led a team to put a roadmap together. Within that roadmap, we came up with the Galam Stop, which was actually to put all these agencies together. Because one of the reasons why we kept having illegal mining within the system is bureaucracy. You go to Minerals Commission, the law says I think the applications should take about 3 months there, and then it goes to the ministry for another 6 months. So I think within 9 months, 30 and 60 days, I think. So within a few months, 3 months, you should have your license. Now, somebody deliberately delays you. And so that applicant cannot wait, and then they go out there to mine. Further to that, we had the drones coming in. People were trained to man these drones. Vetting of the licenses were done to ascertain where concessions are, because due to the bureaucracy, people went out there, and sometimes when somebody gets a mining license, they just photocopy them, and then one license owns about 5 concessions. So it was a way to bring everything together. I know about the gold board, which is out there now. It was all in the roadmap. Tracking of excavators were done. Geofencing was done. All this was done at a cost to the state. Okay, and so for me, I think that when President Mahama was campaigning, I am that sort of person that would believe that you only have to talk about the things that are there and then talk about how we're going to improve it. Because I think we've taken Ghana for granted for so long a time, because the things were there, and then we say it, and then we win power, and then we go and take the same thing, and then because everything that we're doing is not rocket science, we are all going to follow a structure. So I find it a bit disturbing that the same things that were done under the Akufo-Addo government are being repeated and renamed. That's where the problem is, because it's about consistency. That's why I keep saying that the Galamsey fight shouldn't be politicized.
Are you suggesting that yesterday's meeting was not a particularly useful exercise because
it was very
been done in the past?
Very useful.
Okay.
Because you need to engage people. The
Right.
human resource that we have must all come together.
Okay.
But we must instill discipline. I am talking about continuity. Because when we won power in 2017, a structure was there. And Kweku Boahen and all those people were saying that we allowed the Galamseyans to mine because we wanted political power. The reason I'm saying that is that the water bodies, okay, the water that comes from there now is costing us a lot to actually produce water, potable water for everyone. If somebody should be able to consume that water, it doesn't matter whether you're MPP or NDC or CPP. It doesn't have any political colors to that. So I think that the approach should be that we all look at it. Now, you see, all these fine things I've said about that were outlined under the Akufo-Addo government. The roadmap was launched. We came up with a community, which I led a team to do that. And I'll say it as it is, because within my own party, people wanted you to mine illegally because you not allow them. And then somebody comes in and then gives you money. You understand? And within my party, everybody knew the truth. You understand? But nobody said it. Say John of blessed memory. Okay? Why was he paying money to Anas? Professor Frumpong Boateng, okay, has the authority to come and say that people are doing Galamsey. But what was he doing? And all these things, I'm not mentioning these names because everything that I've said, the BNI has the information. The CID, I reported everything to them. Why haven't we done anything about that? This is within MPP. There's another person, Francis Owusu-Echa. He sits in Parliament. They did the Anas thing. You understand? You understand? And the party disqualified him when in his first attempt. And then subsequent to that, they said he's been punished. No. This is something that's dear to the heart of this nation. You understand? And so Charles Bishop was thrown under the bus when in fact we knew that it wasn't the truth. Okay, now, fast forward. NDC comes in reinventing the same thing. You understand? So all I'm saying is that this Galamsey thing shouldn't be politicized. Whatever President Mahama was saying, I heard the minister talking about geofencing, putting trackers on excavators, and all these things were actually the documents. So I would have wished that they could have come in and said, okay, you put out these things, but you're not doing them properly. So we are going to dip in them and then actually develop from there. So for me, I think that the meeting that was held yesterday was very important because we need to be engaging ourselves. Number two, the systems are already there. What we need as a nation is the consistency, and we should stop being hypocrites. You see the names I've mentioned?
Yeah.
They are all there. And the BNI and the CI, they have every information. Why are we not actually delving into it? That Francis Osei-Chan was mentioned in Sir John's will, okay? But the special prosecutor decides that I'm going to actually investigate the matter. Because his friend is Anas, he left it. So what are we doing to ourselves? You understand? So I think that we should keep on engaging, we should be consistent and be honest with ourselves, because this Galamsey thing doesn't have any political party. And my party included, NDC included, and every Ghanaian must come on board.
Right.
That's what I think.
Let me say that Theophilus Jimega Jr. has also joined us. Theo, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show. Yeah. Sorry, your microphone is apparently off. Yes,
Yeah, good morning to your viewers, and of course, good morning to my people from Hawaii. Apologies for running late. I think I mistook the time to be 8:30, and I was working, because last time it was 8:30, so I was working on 8:30, yes. Lateness is not in my lexicon.
Yeah.
But all the same, I was following you on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes, and I connected it to my car, so I was watching, listening.
Everything.
Yes, to
so even though you're not here physically, you're here in spirit.
Yes, I listened to all the Kennedy Agyapong story from the 24 years in Parliament to all the other stuff about the small-scale miners guy you were trying to reach and everything. So
I see. So you haven't missed out on anything.
I haven't missed out on anything.
No, that's great. In fact, it's going to be making submissions richer because he's heard everything, and he's going to put all of that in perspective when it gets to his turn. So let me come to you, Michael. Michael, you watched the encounter yesterday. What was going through your... I mean, just as I asked Charles, when you heard that the president... First of all, you at the place? Were you at the presidency yesterday?
Yes, I was invited yesterday. So
okay. Were you happy when you were invited for this engagement?
First of all, let me extend my greetings to your viewers. Yesterday, I was very glad when the president invited the CSOs.
Okay.
And he also invited the small-scale miners as well.
Okay, good.
I think government is you and me. And as a matter of fact, issues that borders on illegality or galamsey is issue that affects everybody.
Okay.
So if government needs to inform the public on what he has achieved in the past 9 months, and also on the way forward, I think it's laudable, and we applaud government and the presidency for that.
Now, what did you take away from yesterday's encounter? What is it that you heard which you would say you haven't heard before, which you would say made yesterday's attendance to the program worth the while? What was new?
I think the new thing that we have seen, or we can attest to, is the goodwill and the political will government is showing in this Galamsey FI. If you remember, some years back, various forest reserves were being encroached and people were in there mining with impunity. But when this government came into power, he has made it clear that whether you are his appointee or a political affiliated person to his party, irrespective of whoever you are, they are not going to condone and make sure people will be in those forest reserves to destroy our ecosystem. And that's something that we can attest to, the fact that all the forest reserves are small-scale miners that we know of. They have been able to man and then make sure all these miscreants have been cleared, even though intermittently they will always want to go back. But I think the NIMOS is doing a very good job, and we applaud the Lands and Natural Resource Minister on that. More so, I think what we have seen is government is as well trying to bring about a different method in trying to resolve this issue, in a sense that we cannot do the same thing every day and expect a different results. when people were calling on government to declare a state of emergency. We thought it wasn't a wise approach or it wasn't a wise calling, in the sense that the only problem that we face as a country is enforcement. So if you're able to enforce the existing laws, there is no need to call for any state of emergency, in the sense that you still need the same people that you are going to use in enforcing the law to declare the state of emergency. We as small-scale miners can attest to the fact that there's no law that permits one to mine in the various forest reserves, not to talk about the various water bodies. So declaring those areas as a security zone is something that we applaud government on. And we will press on the NIMOS to make sure that at least the mandated effort that has been given them should be exercised with bruteness and the sharpness, and at least I know as time goes on, things will be better. We are in support the use of the blue water guards, in a sense that, you know, whistleblowing is key in the fight against Galamsey. I think Charles Bisu tried to bring about this methods, and unfortunately his party did not allow him to do what was on paper. I remember the previous government brought about the multilateral mining integrated project, which was spearheaded by Charles Bisu. Along the way, they had to disband it and then try to do whatever they were trying to do. But, you know, the Galamsey fight is a collective effort. We shouldn't bring politics into this Galamsey fight, in a sense that people who want to mine can be allowed to mine in a responsible and a sustainable manner. And those miscreants who want to destroy our forest can be dealt with. So we need to draw the distinction between small-scale miners and Galamseyers, in the sense that small-scale mining is now producing the largest gold the largest gold in Ghana, and it is bringing a lot of revenue to the government. At least almost 3 tons a week is not a joke, and government is raking around $350 million every week from the small-scale mining export of gold. So, as a matter of fact, it's something that we all have to understand. The sector that has employed a lot of youth and people who are engaging in it, some we will say are doing it in the wrong way. But what can we do as a country? We cannot kill these people. These issues boil down on bread and butter issues. So what we can do as a country is to make sure that even if we need to form cooperatives, so that all these people can be gainfully employed and be monitored so that they can mine in a sustainable way. I think that is the way to go. As a matter of fact, when you go to China, there is illegal mining going on. We have gone to China, and China is facing the same issue. When you go to South Africa, there is illegal mining going on. When you go to Peru, there is illegal mining. Even when you go to US, they call Galamsey panning. So it's about you trying to manage the issue and at least make sure that the negative impact that it has on the environment is being, reduced so that people can easily mine and mine in a sustainable way.
Now, one of the things that the president said yesterday, and it's a repetition of what he said in the past, I recall that when he had that media engagement, it was one of the things that he proposed as one of the ways in which we can clean up the mining sector and get our youth who are determined to do this, to do mining, to do it in a more responsible way. He talks about taking the leadership of organizations such as yours to Australia to basically teach our young people modern, better, more responsible way of mining. Clarify this for me. Are you one of the organizations that is going to be, include, are you going to play any key role in this trip to Australia? And what do you make of the idea?
I think the idea is laudable in the sense that the methodology in mining is evolving. I recently had a meeting with one of the topmost engineers in South Africa who operates in one of the mines in South Africa. He told me, Pippa, the issue with people destroying our water bodies. And even in South Africa, we even mine the belly of the river. But what we do is a very complex and a very nice approach, in the sense that if they realize that the minerals is in the river, what they do is they divert the river by getting a license from the Water Resource Ministry in South Africa. When they are done mining in the river, they will still make sure that they create the same path for the river without even destroying it. People are mining and they are not destroying the water bodies. I think that the methodology is what we lack as a country, and mining evolves. So if other countries are mining close to water bodies and they are not destroying it, and Ghana, our problem is mining without destroying the water bodies, then at least it's better the government takes an initiative so that people who own the small-scale mining sector, or people who are into small-scale mining, can be taught in the new methodology so that they can easily implement it without destroying water bodies. And it's a good idea. Even President Kufuor did a similar thing by taking small-scale miners to China. And it was a very good initiative. So this thing is something that we will applaud government on, and going forward, I think we can easily take people out to go and learn the new methodologies so that they can come here and initiate it, and the water bodies can be saved.
Wonderful. And I'll come back to you on some of the issues that have come up. But let me bring in Theophilus Jimegan. Theophilus, I mean, haven't we talked enough? I mean, I've heard people say that, you know, all the president needs to do is out there. The methodology is out there. The information is out there. The template is out there. The suggestions, the recommendations, the pieces of advice. Charles just mentioned it earlier as we heard him. He says, look, the solution is out there. The problem we've had is with enforcement. And so for some people, this whole stakeholder engagement was not necessary. The talk is enough. Let's get to action. What thou sayest about persons who think or share that opinion?
Moro, first, I would have thought you would have also asked me if I was also there.
Oh, were you there?
I was there.
In what capacity?
One.
Are you...
I'm a mining engineer.
Ah! You know, it's actually escaped me that you're a mining engineer.
I'm a mining engineer.
Yes.
Lawyers in Search of Democracy, Linsod.
Oh, yes. That's true.
Yes. So I was there. And thirdly, I'm a communication team member for NDC.
That's true.
So
that's true. In fact, there's every reason for you to be there.
Yes, so I was there.
Both professionally and politically.
One of the first to have arrived.
Oh,
I think I was the seventh in the room when I counted. Yes, I was there. I sat just behind the bishops and beside my younger brother, Franklin Kujo. Yes. I think what I got out of yesterday's program was the fact that a lot was being done, but very little was being communicated. Or a lot was being done, and the media men, maybe people like you, have taken little time to search for what was being done.
Right.
Because the pictorial presentation by Honorable Amakofi Bua was so touching, to the extent that I saw at least two groups saying that they were sort of pleased with what they've seen. You know, the Catholic Bishops' Conference had their written, let me use the word, message.
Yes.
They were going to read out yesterday. The Kenashigbe-led
some
group,
kind of a communique.
Yes. I won't say communique. Maybe demands.
A demand, okay. Yes.
The Kenashigbe group had their own. There was a CSO led by, or represented by Colonel Festus Abuaji, also had their own.
You mean like a prepared speech?
Prepared speech.
To be delivered?
Yes, prepared
at the event?
Yes.
How did you know?
They were holding it and said, President, we'll give it to you.
They mentioned it?
Yes. They held it and said
that we've always wanted an opportunity to ferry this, information to you. And now we have you, we're going to give it to you.
Yes, and we are going to.
And then what changed?
The timing.
Okay.
I think the whole program was to be for 2 hours.
Okay.
So the time will not allow them to read. In fact, what Kenashigbe was holding was quite bulky.
Okay.
Yes. And when he said he was going to talk to it, he talked about 3-4 minutes when he said wrap up. But out of the 3 groups I'm mentioning, the Bishops' Conference said they were happy with what they have seen and heard.
Yes.
And a lot was being done. I've always been of this impression. A lot of people who are making noise about Galamsey, do they really know what is happening? Or they just look at the graphics, the optics, and say, hey, this is happening somewhere. Do they really know what is happening, how bad it is? I mean, do they really appreciate it by perhaps a fiscal visit of somebody they have commissioned?
You're suggesting there's a knowledge gap?
Yes, a knowledge gap. There is a gap between what is happening and what is being reported and what has improved. I think there is a gap.
I see.
And it was clear yesterday, and I'm not surprised at what Michael Pipra was saying now. Then the CSO, led by Kenneth Festus, also made the point that the last 2 should be the state of emergency. In fact, I raised my hand. If I were called earlier, I would have said that those who were going to talk about the state of emergency should please do us a favor by itemizing 1 or 2 things they want post the declaration of the state of emergency. Because just to jump without thinking where to land would be a bit problematic.
Yeah.
So tell us that when you declare state of emergency, we will do A, B, C, or we expect A, B, C, D to be done. So what I saw yesterday, I think that a lot is being done. Particularly the fact that they said, Charles might tell us if it is false, but yesterday I heard Felix Kwachifosu repeated it several times, that there were 9 forest reserves which were no-go areas under the MPP government.
They were called red zone areas.
I mean, they were...
No, it was in red zone.
No, not that you can't go and mine. The army were prevented from going there to do anything.
Yeah, that's what we call a red zone. The army, NIME must have described the place as red zone.
Okay, yes.
Because of how armed
how
the persons who were mining there.
Exactly.
Yes.
What were the names?
It's a red zone.
No, the names were not mentioned.
No, so I mean that's vague.
Yes.
Yes.
You know,
you go there.
No,
you'll be killed.
When Felix was on I think it was Joy with Miracles.
Yes.
He repeated the same. 9 forest reserves, but those have been claimed. And NIMOS also said the same thing, that those have been claimed or reclaimed. And when they appear to have...
I mean, it was almost like mining rebels.
Yes, when they appear to have dozed off a bit, the people were coming back and they say, hey, we are getting you. And they got people out of the forest and the pictures were there. We saw that last week, etc. That was heartwarming. Now, somebody also raised the issue. It's a medical doctor. She raised the issue about the fact that we were promised that the LI 2462 was going to be repealed. Now they are making efforts to repeal again, should they be trusted. But I think we have gotten to a place where it will be repealed. So
the lady talked about the fact that he was promised in June last year,
yes,
and was promised again in October.
In October,
and she thinks there's no consistency.
Yes.
What next month? Which next date are they going to promise again?
No.
So she wanted some assurance.
I think a lot has been done to show that it will. You see, the idea of revoking the LI was also to redo the whole Mining Act.
Yeah.
To reflect current situations. Then I also saw another thing that...
And that, we're told, we've just been, the minister gave us a firm assurance that in October...
Yes,
Dr. Dominic Ayine, the minister,
yes,
gave us a firm assurance that in October,
yeah,
LI 2462 will be repealed and be replaced by LI 2465.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
But not replaced. Let's be careful. Perhaps that new LI is the one revoking the 2462. It's just a paper revoke. It's an LI that says that this one...
No, I'm talking replaced purely from a layman's point of view.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But technically speaking, I get the point you're making.
It could be the one, the new LI,
okay,
that will say 2462 is repealed. And that will have nothing but for stating that this LI has been repealed. That's all.
Okay, no, I need some clarification. I need some clarification on this. There's a document.
Yes.
That guides the mining industry, especially when it comes to the forest reserve.
Yeah.
There's a new one which has just been completed, done and dusted. Dominic Ayine says the new one will come to force when Parliament resumes. Now, if mere mortals like us say that the LI 246 will die, right?
Yeah.
and then a new one will take over. That's a common man's language. But you lawyers have a way of saying it. But you're saying that legally speaking, there's nothing like a replacement. There's no replacement.
There's no replacement.
Okay,
You see,
help me understand
You cannot just say one airline is revoked and leave it there.
Okay.
There is another airline which will revoke the one that is existing.
Okay.
So the one revoking it can only be this new airline revokes the old airline, and that's all. And that is all that is in the new airline.
Oh, okay. Right.
It might not be any other thing apart from this one replaces, and those who took part in the replacement and the dates and everything. That's all.
Okay, I get it.
So it might not mean that they are adding or subtracting or bringing something. No. Yeah. So if they are doing the replacement, etc., that's the amendment they are doing. No. This one just says that one is gone.
It's gone.
That's all.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Then we also heard about the fact that a lot of the excavators are still lying unacclaimed. Nobody is there to claim them because you are to take permits before you import the excavators. And a lot of the guys don't have permits, so the excavators are lying in certain military installations across the country. That also tells us that a bit of work is being done there. You see, yesterday, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the president, said something. Sorry. That Galamsey, as we know it, used to be shovels, pickers, etc. But now Galamsey has been Shanfan, excavators, water pumping machines, etc. I agreed with the group led by Colonel Festus when they said that eliminate the big machinery. When you eliminate the big machinery and the Galamsey reverts to pickers and shovels, a lot of the fight would have been won. So my heart is warm when I heard the minister saying that a lot of the excavators are not being claimed.
Okay.
Because the people don't have the permit to import in the first place.
Right.
And he also made a very startling case yesterday to say that for the past 7 or 8 years, no excavator was registered, even though the law says that they should be registered. None of them was registered. And that is so much a big issue that we should look into. I don't think that if somebody has breached the law all this while, if you get the excavator, get the person who brought in the excavator. Why was it not registered? Let the person pay the penalty for it. I was hoping that the ministers would go ahead with that.
And it's because as lawyers you say there's no statutes of limitations when it comes to crime.
Crime at all. But there is one. When someone hurts somebody and it takes a year and a day for the person to die, it's no more murder.
Really?
Yes.
Even though the death can be attributed to you?
Yes. So, for example, if I shoot you now, today being 4th October 2025, and you die 5th October 2026, it's no more murder.
Why?
It has been an old British law that a judge put there that a year and a day after the incident is no more attributable to you as the cause of the death.
Oh, okay. Means that there may be other causative factors.
Yes. You could just be lying there for that 1 year.
So what's the timeline?
A year and a day.
I get it, but I'm saying that.
Yes.
At what point does it still make it? Does that law kick in?
From the day the incident occurred to the day the person passed.
So no, I'm saying that if you shoot me, how many days or weeks or months time period do I have for me to be able to confidently attribute it to your?
That's what I'm saying. 1 year and a day.
Okay, but 1 year and a day.
Yes. Start from the day you are shot.
I get it, but
till the day you die.
Yes, and you're saying that once it is a year and a day.
Yes.
Then you cannot blame me for it. I can't blame you for it. But if you shot me today and I die today, you can be blamed for it.
Till
when?
6 months.
Oh, 6 months.
Till a year.
Till a year.
Yes,
but
and
once,
a day.
Oh, so you only have a year and a day to be blamable for my death.
Exactly.
Anything after a year and a day.
No, it's no more my cause that you are dying.
That's a very interesting.
Yes.
That's a
you
very
can
interesting.
Google it. A year and a day rule.
I see.
Yes, a year and a day rule. It's yes. So, but this one we're talking about this calamity.
Yes.
Let's come back to it.
And I think also you cited this example because of the statutes of limitations argument that I raised. And I said there's an exception.
Yes, I believe that those guys should be chased.
Okay.
And prosecuted. But there was one forest reserve that was mentioned in Ashanti.
Yes.
Maybe Charles will help. He has the name Ampabra or something, I can't remember. I tried to Forest Reserve. And when you see the picture from the area view, it looks like a town.
Okay.
Like you are on a flight and you look at the top of the houses. But in effect, actually, there are excavations filled with water. And the excavations that were done and poured on green areas. And it looks like football fields, buildings, etc. Yes, it was an eyesore. But with what we have been told, that forest reserve has also been cleared of Galamsey. So it's likely that things will take time. Okay. Nature will come back to itself. So to me, yesterday's program, the good takeaway is that we are now aware of where we were, what is being done. And of course, my brother Franklin Kujo asked, how much is it costing, or how much will it cost for us to win the fight? And if yesterday the president said we are spending 18 million for only the Blue Water Army guys, and the whole budget for the Galamsey fight is about just 15 to 18 million, then we need more to be able to sustain the fight, because those guys are not the only ones that are needed in the fight.
I want to ask you when I come back from this break, whether you think that and I'll ask Charles the same question, whether you think that the question about how much it's costing or how much we're expending on this whole Galamsey fight is actually a relevant question or not. I mean, can you sort of second guess Franklin Kujo where he was coming from when he asked about the cost? So you're watching Good Morning. I don't know, Good Morning, God, sorry. You're watching Inside Pages on Metro Television. Please stay with us.
Ebusiafo ye mama kwaba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enyi. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby cot. In fact, bibia opama umanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059 6377 172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Chia woni nara mi din edebe dapa me dia de sonko kra na ebremo nya de to aduane mo ama waduane dapa na me de bremo eno any some spices here ebuwa wo no bebre o various flavors ubenya eya akoko ubenya nantwie ye de ku jollof mu ma emu ye de ubenya ne de ku nkwan ye de ku froye mu ho na kope bito na ema waduane enye de onye minia ye nkon ye konko tie nyankofo eka
autant de communication ni all enjoy oduba that Samu spices one in the essence no hi I'm taking the Daliaga Samu spices in a sabi daddy so say Samu spices mun Samu spices nyama chicken
Samu spices in Sanaka in Ketwa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, can jollof, and the flavors of Bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
FDRJ Jadien Kratwe Yatum.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey you later.
Of course.
be the luckiest. Kofi from Georgia be luckiest. From Natebia, cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you put it away, so would the coming of the Son of Man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Need your attention, please. Mnet Movies 4 brings you Action HQ.
Before I describe the job, I have to know you can do it.
The movie festival where action never clocks out.
1, 2, 3.
Go! Business as usual means fist first, questions later. We don't do spreadsheets.
Some car keys, a couple guns.
We do high speeds.
Put your foot to that floor and you hurt.
Our management style, very hands-on. Water cooler chats, surprisingly inspirational.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
This October, Mnet Movies 4 is mission control for mayhem.
Complete destruction.
It's home base for heroics. It's Action HQ. Consider your couch the corner office of chaos. This is not a drill. Report to Action HQ all month long on Mnet Movies 4, where action never clocks out.
Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Inside Pages on Metro Television. I'm here with Mr. Charles BC of the New Patriotic Party, a member of the communications team. Mr. Theophilos Jimega Jr. is a mining engineer and also a private legal practitioner, but he's here representing the NDC. We're having a conversation about small-scale illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, and the president's decision to engage in stakeholder interactions with civil society organizations, and whether indeed it has lived up to expectations, and especially when some people say that we've been doing the talking for a while, enough, we need to get to action. We're still waiting to be joined by Dr. Arthur Kennedy, and we would also pick his thoughts on this matter. We want to spend the next 10 minutes on this, or the next 15 minutes on this, and then we can wrap up with the DSTV debacle. All right, so let me come to Charles now. Charles, you have heard everything that is said, and you have argued that the solution is out there. In fact, you have also argued forcefully that a lot of things that the current government is doing today are not new. These are ideas that were floating, or ideas that you had formulated, that you were actually implementing. Now, give me 3 of the ideas that you had initiated or had formulated, which were implementing, that you see currently happening today.
Okay.
And if indeed you were the ones who came up with the idea, what was the difficulty in fighting Galamsey during your tenure?
Okay. Thank you. I think if you say 3, then you're limiting me.
That's fine. How many?
Everything that was said yesterday.
It's
in this document here.
For instance.
Almost everything.
For instance.
Yes. For instance.
For example.
Tracking of excavators.
Okay.
That was done at the cost to the taxpayer.
Tracking of excavators. Yes. How about getting these excavators to register?
That again was done. I'll read something for you.
All right.
It says the Minerals Commission, in collaboration with the DVLA, have been tasked to register and install all tracking devices on earth-moving equipment to ensure that these equipment, the use of these equipment at inappropriate locations are monitored and reported. So it says, 1, all earth-moving equipment shall be registered by DVLA. All mining companies shall strictly comply with the vehicle roadworthiness regulations. No earth-moving equipment shall be used for mining minerals without evidence of registration with the DVLA. So all these things were there.
Right.
Subsequent to that, it was published in the dailies.
Okay.
That everybody with excavator should actually bring it forward for it to be tracked. And the state did that at the cost of the taxpayer. Now, I keep saying that ours is the consistency and the monitoring of.
No, but back to this. Back to this issue about getting the owners of these excavators to register. What was the difficulty in getting them to register?
It was done.
So
the tracking was done.
I'm talking not the tracking, as in to register with GVLA.
No, so after this document was done, that's when I stepped aside.
Okay.
I told you of the things that happened.
Okay.
Because you see,
I truncated.
Yes, but then the
implementation of the ideas.
No, it rolled out. I stepped aside.
Yes.
But then it should have carried on.
Yes.
Some were done.
Okay.
Following that, that scandal, I just thought I wouldn't do anything close to mining.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So that I do not taint the integrity of what was going on. Now, you see, I've mentioned names, Sir John and all that. He mentioned Apramprama Forest.
Okay.
Apramprama Forest was where I went to actually truncate what was happening then. That's why that video came out, the announced video. And I said on the 16th of December, if you look at the dates, after I went to Apramprama, Sir John paid money to Anas. The evidence is clear. You understand? Francis Owusu-Echiao, Professor Frimpong Boateng. Yet Professor Frimpong Boateng comes out to say that some people are doing illegal mining. That's too rich coming from him. You understand? So I'm saying that the people within this country, be it MPP and NDC, no. Because my brother from NDC was saying that now excavators are lying out there and that they do not have owners. I remember President Mahama and everybody saying that these excavators have been stolen. And I came out, if you Google me, I said, no, these excavators do not have owners. Because what happens is that the small-scale mining is the preserve of Ghanaians only. So the Ghanaian goes for the license and do not have money to invest in it. And there's research that shows that in China, when the Chinese are coming into this country, there's a bank that gives them $20,000 to come and mine in Ghana, illegal mining. You understand?
Yes.
So the Ghanaian goes to the Chinese. The Chinese gives him or her the excavator, and then about 90% of the proceeds go to him.
Yeah.
You get it? So it is a matter of consistency. The geofences that the minister was talking, it was done. Now, you talk about gold board, yeah? Okay. Again, if I read this for you, it was also stated there. So all I'm saying is that if, as a country, we should come out and say that this government did this, whatever they did, we are going to continue from there. If I read about the gold board to you, it says 5.8, it says monitoring, that's the roadmap, page 21, and then 5.8, it says monitoring and purchase and exportation of gold. Gold purchasing and exportation to be strictly monitored by the government through relevant agencies in order to increase revenue. Purchase and exportation should be the preserve of Ghanaians only. Exportation to be licensed and be part of all these groups, Minerals Commission and all that. And then he says the exporter's source of purchase to be linked to the small-scale mining operator. A committee made up of Minerals Commission, EPA, PMMC, Small Scale Miners Association, Bank of Ghana, the Customs Division, GRA, must be constituted to provide a detailed gold export framework. So the document is there. You see, as a state, as a nation, this is more like a blueprint for us. I am saying that, why is it that we come in, I'm still a politician, you understand? But politics is managing the affairs of the state. That's what I understand. So once you're given the opportunity, you should actually give the citizenry or the voter populace that argument that this will give me a better option. You know, in my preamble, you asked me why I haven't actually communicated. I said, no, NDC came out with certain things that they're going to do. So you give them time to roll them out. Okay. And so then you come, but on the day one, if you start doing that, then mean that you do not have the state at heart.
Right.
Now, when President Mahama came in saying all these nice things, at the time, was it for political power? That's fine. He said it. But now, the same thing is being repeated. And I'm saying that political colorization, because when you go to the Galamsey sites, yeah, it is not, you do not, the money doesn't say this money is going to the NDC or MPP. They come together. It's just like the drug cartel. Right. And my brother was saying that Felix Kwachufo said there were 9 forest reserves that were no-go area. That's still forest reserves that I think that people, we've seen on videos that people going, and Erastus Sasaridonko, if everything that he did, you understand, most of the work that he did, when I was a secretary, wherever you're going, you ask him, I took journalists At a point, I took about 60 journalists to Apramprama, CNG Alaska. I have the videos for them to see the devastation of our forest reserve. Within a month, then the announced video came out because I was exposing certain things within the country. For me, I think that this Galamsey thing should not be politicized because we would not get to the end of it, because you come in and say, this government did this, so I am actually going to do it, and then actually delve deeper and ensure that, and to conclude on that, it is the consistency, the discipline of the citizenry. Because if we do not do that, I remember we, at the conference center, we came up with a roadmap, did the same thing. We met Kenashbe and his group. All sorts was done. But now we are actually doing the same thing. It is good for us to meet. Sometimes we come together and say, where are we? Where did we start and all that? Then the nation is actually going forward, because I think the voting populace will be laughing at us. Okay. If anybody is so intelligent to go on the Google and read about these things, that the NDC that said that when Professor Frimpong Boateng said that 500 excavators are missing, and in fact, he came and changed the story that it wasn't true. You understand? Okay. And the NDC latched onto it, saying that the excavators are missing. It belongs to Ghanaians. And we said, well, it never belonged to Ghanaians. Now my brother is saying that they are lying there, but people cannot go and collect them. So I think we need to be consistent in our dealings with the citizens.
Okay, let me
let me correct this before. Okay, the excavators I'm talking about are the ones that have been imported this year.
Yes.
Yeah, the ones
not the ones that were seized during.
No, the one that were moved from the airport recently, and there was a, I think, Joy News particularly.
Yes, there was a misreportage.
Okay. Yes, those were the ones I'm talking about.
All right. Okay. So let me bring in Dr. Arthur Kennedy now. He's a political activist and also a physician. Doc, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you join the show.
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me.
The idea that the president wants to meet civil society organizations and the meeting itself that happened, what are your thoughts? I mean, what for you would you say your takeaways are? Your takeaways?
So let me confess from the beginning that I have not had a full report of the meeting details. So I've been reading snippets during the night, and I've listened to the presentations that were made. And I think that the panelists you have spoken very well. But from their presentations, you could see the political correlations, obviously. I believe that President Mahama means well. But I am increasingly concerned, given the toll that this thing is taking in terms of our economy, like cutting cocoa trees, destroying forests, in terms of health, in terms of the environment. Naturally, as a point, his speech at the UN, for example, on global warming was very powerful, except that when you juxtapose it with what is happening in Ghana, then you wonder about whether we are living up to these principles. I think that we certainly need to weigh the progress report that has been given. It might be that indeed there is an information gap, but I'm concerned. The reason why I'm concerned, while I wish him well, is that the president's tone has changed from candidate to president. And you see that increasingly he is giving us the talking points of the Galamseys. To go to the core of the argument he made some time ago, that you can't just send these people home, you need to find them alternatives before you send them home, like Charles Bissell has pointed out very effectively. The things being said were said by the previous government. There were activities by them, but the problem is that after all the movement, we end up in the same place. I think that this is just the equivalent of watching a soccer match, or a league. And, every week the coach comes and gives you a very good idea how good training was and how the players have gotten the message, and this week we'll start winning. Then you go watch the next game and it's the same results. Then the next week you hear the same things, you go see the match and it's the same results. At the end of the day, spin will not do. It is results that are going to change things. And I think that the mining engineer was excellent, but it was obvious that you could see his political correlation. But Charles Bisu made a very important point, and I've made it both on your show and in other places. I believe that we are getting to a point where maybe we need to add that this fight cannot be won by one party. And that conclusion, which I have communicated publicly a number of times, has been reinforced by the fact that, in spite of yesterday's event, most Ghanaians think that President Mahama is losing the ardor for the fight. And the reason why this is important is that President Mahama does not need to be re-elected. So he's uniquely positioned to put the interests of the nation first. So I fear that if President Mahama is unable to fix Galamsey, we have entered a very dark spot, because the president who comes after President Mahama will be a new-term president eligible for re-election. If President Mahama, without the constraint of worrying about the next election, is unable to take us to where we need to go, it is unlikely that the next president can do that. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I want to suggest respectfully that maybe this fight has gotten to where none of the political parties, for reasons that I've gone into in the past, can win it on its own, and that we need to depoliticize it and stop the you did this, you didn't do that. You see that even this conversation this morning has devolved into what the MPP did or didn't do versus what the NDC has done and is doing. I think as long as we are in effect trading credit and blame, it is going to be very difficult to move forward as a nation, because this truly is an existential threat. I want to believe the things that the president is saying, but we haven't seen as much on the ground as we need to see. And frankly, this idea of having to take miners to Australia or wherever, I don't know. I mean, if there are experts in Australia, I think if you brought them down to Ghana, they'll be able to interact with more minors. But I think that we've passed the place of teaching. There ought to be law enforcement. This is a war. When your water is brown, your cocoa trees are being cut, your contumely is showing mercury and other things, somebody, the national authority, needs to say stop. And then we can talk about other things. But for now, it is almost like coming upon an assault that is going on. You don't negotiate with the assaulter and the person being assaulted, which is this time is Ghana. While the assault is going on, you halt the assault first. So I heard the president, I wish him well, and I pray that he succeeds, but I am getting increasingly pessimistic. But certainly, the attempt yesterday to share information was a good idea. But I think when this starts succeeding, and the turbidity or the brownness of the Kubra and Pra and Bia and all these other rivers start disappearing, the waters start getting cleaner, and the forests start coming, he wouldn't need to persuade anybody, because, as they say, freely, we can see those things for ourselves. I wish them well, but I am pessimistic because it seems that there are very, very powerful forces in the Galamsey establishment. And I think that whatever the president's intentions, they swung back hard after he started, and I think that they are not going away. So those are my initial impressions for now.
Okay. Now, Michael Pepra, you said, hello, Michael, are you there?
I'm here.
Good. Now, you said that after yesterday's encounter, you've been left with a certain sense of optimism because you now have gotten the full picture in terms of what the government has been up to in its quest to fight Galamsey. But you just heard Dr. Arthur Kennedy. I don't know, did you listen to Dr. Arthur Kennedy carefully?
Yeah, I heard him.
Yeah.
I heard him speak.
Yeah. So whereas you were excited about going to Australia, you and your friends going to Australia to learn best practices, he really doesn't think that there's anything new to teach. We've gone past teaching. What ought to be done is enforce the law. What do you make of that?
I think I partly agree with him in a sense that now the problem that we're facing as a country is enforcement, in a sense that the enforcing agencies are handicapped, they are under-equipped. So we need to make sure that at least government can at least disburse of money in the budget to take care of these agencies, in the sense that without the enforcement agencies being equipped, we can't win this fight. But I would say that the problem only compounded in the last 8 years. When politicians go into opposition, their mode of communication changes. I remember when the previous government came into power, they had the goodwill of Ghanaians. I think that was when everybody supported government to be able to win this fight. When Charles Bisu was the chairman or the manager or CEO of the Interministerial Committee Against Illegal Mining, I think in the beginning, everything was on track. But later on, everything tends to be the normal political game that goes on. Under his watch, some of us, including myself, was somebody who were not treated fairly, in the sense that I had gotten my license. I had gone through all the necessary procedure when the previous government came into power. I was cleared. My EPA license had expired. For one reason or the other, they never renew my license for me. Also, the community mining Charles Bisu was talking about was a political tool to enrich some politicians, not real small-scale miners. I can state on the fact that the people they launched the community mining for were all politicians, including people who have now been able to win power, and some are even MPs in parliament. Like a clear example of the MP who has won, and the community mining was launched for him in Kunsu, Afuano, southwest. So now that Charles Bisu is in opposition, now he says we shouldn't add political, tones to whatever has transpired before. But we have only one Ghana, and what I would entreat them is whenever you get power, you make sure that at least the people you serve, you serve them diligently without any political or anything.
Okay.
When you were talking about whether we are happy by going to Australia or not, I said that mining is a practical thing, right? You can teach somebody on paper, or you can be taught on the best practices by using the best methodology. So going to Australia is a fair indication, and it comes to confirm that at least a lot of people can be trained, and a lot of people can have the first-hand information, so that when they come, they can do it better. Maybe as time goes on, they can as well take people from Takwa School of Mines to these places to be as well enlightened on the best practices and the new methodology, so that people can mine in a responsible and in a sustainable manner.
Mm-hmm. Now, Theophilus, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And this elephant in the room has to do with the what appears to be a very heated debate, both public and political debate as to whether we should declare a state of emergency or not. I mean, it's been on for a while now. We heard the president again. He says he's all for a state of emergency for as long as the National Security Council gives him the go-ahead. He can't just get up and declare a state of emergency. But I've also heard some people say that if you look at the kind of executive presidency that we run, if the president wants to declare a state of emergency, he knows how to go about it. I mean, how do you... I mean, what's your take on this?
Moro, my take, I've not hidden my take on this at all. No.
Are you for or against a state of emergency?
I'm all against a state of emergency. I mean, tell us what we will do when the state of emergency is declared. Then I may follow you. But to just say, declare state of emergency, to me, as I said, it's like jumping before thinking of where to land.
Interestingly, when the Catholic Bishops' Conference, their rep yesterday was talking,
yeah,
you recall that he started by commending the president and said he's learned a lot. I mean, he'll be the first to admit that there were certain things he didn't know. Now he knows.
Yes.
But then he goes ahead to say, but we still insist that you declare a state of emergency. He says, starts the preparations towards declaring a state of emergency. And I thought it was quite interesting.
Because that was what he came there to do.
Oh, that's like a prepared speech.
Yes, that was the thing.
That had to be declared.
Yes,
that had to be read.
Yes. That was one of the things. So,
having heard the president, everything the president said, he didn't have a change of mind.
You still have to. And Ken Ashigbe did the same thing. By the way, let me say I am profoundly grateful to Dr. Arthur Kennedy.
Okay.
But he's one of the guys I admire from afar.
Right.
Despite being an MPP member, I read his book, Chasing the Elephant into the Bush.
Yes. But, you know, he gave me a personal copy.
He gave you a personal copy?
Yes.
Oh,
autographed, actually. I still have it.
In fact, he gave me 3 times. And I bought 8 copies and shared to friends.
Yes, at the time I was at CTFM. He gave me one. He gave Shamim a Muslim one, and he gave Bernard Avle one. 3 of us.
I really...
Yes.
I contested Hawkeye primaries a number of times.
Okay.
And I said, why didn't I write like the way he wrote? I could have chronicled a number of things and shared. And for him to have described my delivery as brilliant, Doc, I'm so grateful. I read about him from afar, his student days. I asked my brothers what they knew about him.
Oh, he's an exceptionally good writer.
Yes. And
exceptionally good writer.
I think that he's too far,
right,
much as we are in a global village, too far from Ghana.
Yes. Doc, come back home. Doc, come back home. You've been away for too long. You've been away for too long.
More frequent.
Yes,
not just come back. You should come more frequent. And, yes, back to the elephant in the room. You see, when the state of emergency is declared, I'll give the example of the former prime minister or president of Philippines, who is in The Hague at the moment. He declared state of emergency to fight drugs and crack down on drug trafficking. And the army or the soldiers, the police took advantage of it and killing anybody they could randomly, without purpose, without anything. Now he's facing prosecution because he was leading the crackdown. He declared a state of emergency. Now, if we declare a state of emergency, I think Article 12 to Article 30 or 33 of the Constitution is suspended. All your human rights are suspended. And a lot of things will go in that you wake up one day, you can't move here, you can't do this, depending on what we want to do with the state of emergency.
I'm sure that the Catholic Bishops' Conference, they've got lawyers. They understand. I'm sure they do understand the implications of a state of emergency.
One of their lawyers was my mate. I even saw one Reverend Father that I met at the law school sat beside the Reverend Father.
Yes, but they still insist, despite all these...
Yes,
you know,
you see,
cautions that you are issuing.
Yes, in my language, they say you don't feel hungry and you put the handle of the axe to be the fire.
Okay.
You definitely need the axe rather to split the firewood to light the fire instead of just saying I have another small wood which is also a wood. Let me use it for the firewood.
Okay.
So you don't get hungry at this stage and just say quickly let me just use the wood because every wood is wood.
Right.
No. And let's ask this question again. Moro, you know how I do it. Is there something the president cannot do without declaring a state of emergency? If I pick a leaf from your book, that the executive president that we have,
yes,
he can do everything without declaring a state of emergency. Everything that could be done with the state of emergency can be done without declaring state of emergency. And that is the assurance the president has given us, that he is doing everything that is necessary so that we win this fight. Again, yesterday when I was coming, somebody called me and said, I saw you. But let me ask you these two questions. If Asantehene says no galamsey on his land, would there be galamsey? I say he can't say that. Because it is not everybody who is undertaking illegal mining on his land. So you can't say no small-scale mining on my land. That will affect a lot of people, and a lot of people have been in this business for so long.
So say, no more galamsey on my land.
It's gonna be difficult because now we have even Pipra, Michael Pipra that you interviewed.
Yes.
People regard them as galamseyers. He will tell you.
Oh.
Yes, people regard all small scale as galamsey.
You mean some people are confusing small-scale mining with galamsey?
Yes.
That anybody and everybody who is involved in small-scale mining is also involved in galamsey.
Galamsey. And yesterday there was a presentation that says that
are the lines blurred?
They are not blurred, but yesterday there was But yesterday, that is why I told you that a lot of people talking about small-scale mining and galamsey are talking from a point of ignorance. He will tell you. Yesterday we were told that, and Charles has said it, somebody gets a license for small-scale mining and photocopies it, and 10 people are using it. So where do you draw the line? And if you want to go for the genuine small-scale miner whose own is mixed with somebody who is not genuine, then you're affecting everybody. That is my beef. Now, yesterday we also heard that somebody gets 2 acres of land for small-scale mining regularly with all the licenses, everything done. Then two years after mining or a year after mining and exhausting that area, the person is tired about going for all the renewal and all the processes and decide that the next adjoining land, let me just do something and continue doing it. Then where are we drawing the line? By the way, Michael, yesterday I met your president and one Abdul Isaka or something.
Okay.
I'll be getting in touch with you guys so that we do some good work. So for me, all that the president says we are doing, and with what they presented yesterday, I'm glad that Charles was saying few things were in the pipeline. It means then they also did not communicate well. So if they had communicated well, and this government has taken it up and with what we saw yesterday, would they have been where we are?
Okay.
Charles,
I don't know. You know, your party, as in the New Patriotic Party, has not hidden its position on the state of emergency matter, declaration of a state of emergency. In fact, they have been mounting pressure. We've seen Dennis Miracles Abuaji all over the place, mounting pressure on this government to declare a state of emergency. And the reason is that the NDC did the same to you when you were in power. Even though the NDC has countered that argument, say as a political organization, we've never said that. Never mind that some individuals were for a state of emergency because Ken Ashigbenku were asking for a state of emergency, but it doesn't make it an NDC position. Personally, now let's even put the MPP matter aside as an MPP rep here, but somebody who's been at the center of fighting this illegal mining. Do you agree with those who say that perhaps people don't have a full picture of what it means to declare a state of emergency, and that's why they're calling for it?
Okay. So, first of all, I'll answer Theophilus where he said that we do not communicate well.
Yes.
This document is a public document. So, it's at the lands of Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, Minerals Commission, EPA, they all have copies of this.
Except that we are not a reading society, so yes.
No, but once there's a handover, and you go into a ministry or an agency, there should be documents.
I get that.
And it's actually out there on Google.
Right.
You understand? So if I'm doing my research, if I'm like an official's bystander, I'll just Google and say what has been done and all that. So I think we're being disingenuous by saying that it doesn't exist. It does exist.
Okay.
Let's admit to that. Now, then I'll move on to before I answer your question, Dr. Arthur Kennedy said. You see, I have sympathy for President Mahama because of the things that were said. You understand? Because everything that they're saying now are things that really existed. So I'm still reiterating my point to say that we need to admit that yes, there was a certain document, and that maybe MPP brought out the document and they didn't actually implement it well, and that we are going to continue from there because it's not rocket science. It is the same thing because Prepra was talking about sending people to Australia, and that again is going to be a cost to the taxpayer. 5,000 people were trained here at UMAT. When the IMCIM was formed, all the mining professors and all that from KNUSN and UMAT were brought together. This roadmap, they put it together. I only chaired it. You understand? The community mining that he's talking about, I only chaired it. These experts that we have in Ghana brought it together. You understand? So we do not have to go and import other things from outside when we have the experts here. Now, he was talking about Bunsu, a certain MP benefiting from it. Yes, of course, he's a Ghanaian. I do not know that MP. But then, are we saying that because that person belongs to a certain political party and he actually goes through the processes, we deny him? No, I don't want us to go on that tangent. Now, you see, with the state of emergency, I'm indifferent. Indifferent? Pardon?
You don't care?
No, I'm indifferent. It doesn't mean that I do not care. Okay. When the Akufo-Addo government came in, there was a 2-year ban. At that time, the reason for the 2-year ban was that we did, because then NDC, in my preamble, I said that during the time of the NDC, they started fighting the Galamsey, but they did not come up with a well laid out structure in dealing with the problem, where geofencing, tracking of excavators, vetting of the mining licenses to ascertain that each license owns one concession and all that, where we have to reclamation and all that. So a well laid out, the gold board that they're doing it now. I read it to you. So that ban came in so that we bring all the agencies together. Now, I'll tell one thing that I need to correct. The IMCIM was not mandated to issue licenses. That's where Anas and his people got it wrong. That office does not issue licenses. Our job was to bring the agencies together and ensure that they restructure the artisanal and the small-scale mining sector. Okay. Again, another thing that was said, Pepra has done mining for so long. Right. Galamsey doesn't mean illegal mining. The word Galamsey means gather and sell. Yeah. So you can be doing Galamsey in your own, but maybe we have actually coined it in such a way that when you're saying gather and sell, but you can gather and sell on a legal mine. Okay. The difference is that mining legally and mining illegally. You understand? And what is mining illegally? Things that do not conform to the law. Mining in river bodies. You understand? Polluting the river. All these things, the laws, well laid out laws for that. Okay. Now, the reason why I'm saying that I'm indifferent is that if President Mahama is going to come out to draw another plan, then you can say, okay, I'm actually going to put a ban on mining in small-scale mining areas for now, and then give me the opportunity to actually put out a document or something that we can all come together. But that has been done under the Akufo-Addo government. These people, or the CSOs that met, they met under Akufo-Addo's government. So I think it's only a continuation. And I keep saying that it is the discipline within us as people. Because the thing does not know political colors. It's us who do it. So I'm, the state of emergency, yes, okay. I've heard people say, but they do not actually understand what it takes to go inside. Because you see, you said something that Miracles is saying that because they did it to us, so we also have to push that. I'm not on that tangent. I know if you do that, we're doing we're doing a disservice to the country because they did it and we have to do it. No. Okay. Is it really proper for us to do it? What goes into the state of emergency? Okay. Do we have to give them time to actually put a document together? Okay. That's what it is.
All right. Doc. Doc, hello?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, Theophilus was inviting you over over to Ghana. He thinks that you've been away for too long. He would like to meet you. He one of his he says you're his idols. He admires you a lot, and so on and so forth. So he would like to meet you, personally, and then maybe share some, and then you can share some words of some nuggets of wisdom with him. I don't know whether you would take up that invitation, but beyond that, state of emergency. If you can do that in just 2 minutes, because our time is almost up. Should we declare or not?
So let me thank Theophilus for his very kind comments. And yes, I'll take him on. But I've been coming to Ghana, as I'm sure some of you know, and my children, God willing, will both graduate from medical school in the next year. After that, they'll be independent, and I'll have done my part so I can retire to Ghana and hopefully make some good trouble. Having said that, so I think the state of emergency should be declared, but both Theophilus and Charles Bissell have good points. I think in Ghana, we vest executive power in the president. So it is true that there are a lot of things that will be done under a state of emergency that can be done now. I think, though, that we're missing the point. The state of emergency communicates our seriousness. Psychologically, it says we are in crisis. In other words, if we're talking about the patient, this is a code red. The patient is dying. We know he's in intensive care. So the time for business as usual has passed. So that is the point where the state of emergency is a good idea. But having said that, I think Charles Bissell makes a very important point that I think we keep repackaging, retreading, and renaming the same things that, as he admitted, maybe was good on paper but were not implemented well. I think we need to see results, and I agree. I have spent a lot of time trying to understand this and the difference between people who are honest, legitimate galamseys and illegal miners. But the point of the state of emergency is to say stop. So the stop means whether you're catching a breather, you are examining why we are failing. But the reason why we keep failing is that Charles Bissell slipped and let it in. There are on both sides very powerful people involved in this who are fighting back. And it seems like whichever government is in power, those people are holding sway. We need to get to a point where we say, this thing is so important. It has no political correlation. So we will stop it regardless of who is unhappy. And I do not sense that we are there yet. And I believe, honestly, that we should have been there long ago under Nada and now under President Mahama. But I also think, maybe I hope I'm wrong, that both political parties have lost the will to fight this to the end on their own.
Okay. All right, Doc, thank you so very much for accepting to join us on the show today. Thank you. And then also, Michael Prepper. Michael, I also want to thank you very much for joining the show this morning. Thank you so very much, Michael.
I didn't have my topic.
In just 30 seconds, because our time is up.
We don't believe declaring the state of emergency would yield any results, in the sense that we've done it before when the previous government brought about a 2-year ban. That was a mini or a semi-state of emergency, and that is the time Ghana became the leading producer of gold in Africa, because that was the time small-scale miners really worked, and people were even in our forest reserves working. So anybody who is calling for the state of emergency is a lazy man's approach, in the sense that enforcement is the problem. So what do we do as a country?
All right.
We need to enforce the existing laws so that at least people can really mine in a sustainable manner. So calling for a state of emergency is a lazy man's approach, and nobody should heed to that.
All right. Thank you very much. We have just have the next 30 seconds. Just read a few messages that we can go because our time is up. I'm so sorry. So this one from Prince Derek J. He says that, good morning. The big budget required for the fight against Galamsey must be from the Galamsey kingpins. The state must confiscate the assets and have their bank accounts frozen. All arrested Galamseyers must be compelled to repair the damage they caused to the rivers, land, and undertake an aggressive afforestation program in addition to court sentencing. This one here from Hardy from Pig Farm. He says that, good morning, brother. President John Dramani Mahama is very much much on course in executing the Better Ghana agenda and is paying no attention to all the ugly noise that is being made by the MPP. Inshallah, the government of President John Dramani Mahama will succeed in fighting Galamsey like how he did in fighting Doom. So God bless our homeland Ghana. Long live President John Dramani Mahama. Good morning to Alhaji Inusa of 37. Musa Abatwana Sawase says President Mahama's engagement with CSOs on the Galamsey issue shows his strong commitment to ending the menace. His stance against government officials involved in it proves his integrity and determination. Let's all support him in this noble fight to completely eradicate Galamsey menace and protect water bodies and forest reserves for future generations. And then this one here from, I guess we're good to go. I want to thank you very much for your time. Charles Bisi, it's always a pleasure.
I mean, it's one of my friends just sent me a message. She's watching from Jamaica.
Okay.
It's Belinda, yes.
Okay. Is that Galamsey there?
No.
Okay.
Just said prophets have done well.
Right.
This time we shouldn't be late.
Okay. Now, master planner from Kintampo, he's a policy analyst. He says that the Galamsey Forum will not yield anything new in the fight against Galamsey. President Mahama should just declare a state of emergency, period. Greetings, Honorable Chris Lloyd, MPP Deputy National Organizer, Master Planner, Junior Policy Analyst, Kintampo. Thank you very much for your time. It's so good to have you join us. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Branch manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines.